Representative from Ohio, Mr. Rulli, for 5 minutes.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Grover. I want to begin with a statistic. According to HHS, hourly price for childhood service has doubled since 1995. Child care costs rose faster than housing, transportation, and groceries over the last 3 decades. There's a lot of talk in Minnesota about the fraud that was happening in daycare centers. We've seen a lot of that fraud in Ohio and Columbus with our daycare centers. So that starts a conversation in Ohio about public daycare versus private daycare, which is why I think I'm addressing you right now. You talk about your company is providing child care for your employees, and I think a lot of this could be done with tax breaks. Employee retention to me is absolutely everything. You know, our family has a business, and so I used to do HR, and now I sat in on HR with my brother, and the questions that employees are asking about when they are interviewing are different than they were 10 years ago. And it almost feels like the employer now is being interviewed by the employee because things have changed since the 1990s. In the 1990s, when I was in college, it was a market that was provided by the employer because the employer was in the driver's seat. But now the employer is not in the driver's seat. It is the employee that is in the driver's seat because there are many jobs available for them. We don't have the workforce that America needs to provide to continue this economical boom that we're trying to occur. So I have employees when they're asking to be interviewed that are talking about how many days off do you have? What kind of time can I have off weekends? Do I know any people that work here? Is it fun to work here? Can I bring my kid to work? So that's where you hit pause. Can I bring my kid to work? So if you have a private provided daycare center, now your company is much more desirable to work at, and it is a golden piece of the puzzle that you could actually get the best workforce that you could imagine. And not only that, but mom and dad are going to be on the campus where their kid is going to be at daycare. So the accessibility to your child, if there's a problem, is going to be absolutely amazing. I think the workforce in America is evolving every single day, and this is such an interesting part of the puzzle. How do we address privately daycares for our employees, and how could Congress help you with incentivizing companies to provide more daycare? Because you know, companies are always looking at overhead and how much overhead just boggles down your net and your gross profit. But if you don't have the workforce when you need the workforce, you're in big trouble. So with that, Ms. Grover, I'll pull back and I'll let you continue on that.
Sure, thank you. So just to be clear, in terms of our program, we work with a off-site daycare center and provide reduced hourly rates, reduced daily rates. However, it's still a benefit and certainly something we hear quite a bit of during the interview process. I think your question is, you know, what should Congress do right now, right? If we had a wish list, what could we as a business do? And to me, you know, there are a couple of different things. I think the first is preserve and strengthen employer-focused tax credits. So the Section 45F employer child care contribution tax credit is a huge incentive to businesses like mine who want to be able to expand and grow this program because we've seen the success of what it can be at this entry level. And so certainly the expansion of those types of tax credits is key. I think keeping the definitions flexible so private business can be creative and go to work in terms of what solution is going to be most appropriate for that business and for that group of employees. Could it be on site? Could it be local at a more local level? Could it be a wide variety of different childcares? I think there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to childcare, but employers who really understand their workforce, understand the demographics, and understand the needs are very well suited to help define that. And then lastly, I think avoiding complexity that creates a barrier to participation, ensuring that the execution of these tax credits is straightforward, that businesses can understand what the playbook is in order to create a child care program, leverage this as a benefit, and in turn recruit and retain the best possible talent, especially in the manufacturing industry, where, as you so accurately stated, it's incredibly competitive to find really highly capable, skilled labor. And so in general, that's kind of the picture of what we'd look for.
Thank you, Ms. Glover. I yield my time.